Hello everybody and welcome to the Tortoise channel. So happy to have you join us. If you are new here, welcome. And if you are not, thank you so much for the ongoing contribution. It's been helping us grow. And today I want to talk about news that came out on Lululemon. I think this is a big deal, guys. So if you are a Lululemon investor, I think just stick around because I think I will provide valuable insights, okay? But before I do that, let me just quickly remind you guys that on the 20th of this month, which is 2 days away, I'm hosting my first live YouTube video here, as you can see. And so if you guys want to ask me anything, personal things related to investments, whatever, just join. And it's a way of that I will have to show my appreciation for all your contributions. So thank you so much for the ongoing support, everyone. Now, today, big news. As always, I made the effort to concise all the information and to put everything into a Word document. And this is a big deal, if you ask me. Let me just drag this across. This is about Lululemon, guys. And so if you are not aware, Lululemon shares are already up this morning. And the reason for that is because news were released yesterday by the New Wall Street Journal that according to that report, Elliott Investment Management has acquired a stake exceeding $1 billion in Lululemon, making it one of the company's largest shareholders. I'm not sure how well you understand activists, but when a high-profile activist investor enters a business, it often signals that change may be coming. So before I continue, let me just explain you a bit more about Elliott Investment Management. They are one of the world's most respected active investors. In fact, they have taken another stake recently in September, I believe, in PepsiCo. And so they typically, I will just break it down for you. Founded in 1977, the firm has delivered approximately 14% annualized returns over time. That is incredible. So it's clearly trouncing the S&P 500 returns over the same time frame, right? Which is about 9% or give or take. So that's incredible. That's incredible outperformance. And they are mostly known for deep fundamental research targeting underperforming but high-quality businesses. So it's not like they build stakes into every shitty company. No. The underperforming, yes, but companies they believe have quality. They have a moat, right? Driving operational and governance improvements, using hedging strategies to manage downside risk. So their involvement typically signals a belief that value can be unlocked through change. Okay? So now that I gave you some background into Elliott Investment Management, let's discuss now how big a deal this actually is. Okay? So when a high-profile active investor enters a business, it often signals that change may be coming. Lululemon, as you know, is currently navigating a difficult period in its core US market. I've been very clear about this. I want to see this thing turn around, and this is where the big problem lies. It's not internationally where the company sales are exploding, in comparable sales as well. No, it's in the key markets that include North America and Canada, which still represent about 70% of overall revenues. Okay, so sales growth has slowed. Demand has softened and product innovation appears to have lost momentum. This was mentioned by the current CEO. As a result, consumers are increasingly exploring alternatives such as Alo Yoga and Vuori. The big thing about Elliott's investments is that, as I already discussed, based on their track records, so their involvement signals that they believe these changes are fixable and not structural. Yeah, and so do I. I think a lot of the problems that a lot of the traps Lululemon has gotten itself into had to do with mismanagement. In management, the current CEO who is to step down at the end of January, if I'm not mistaken, he has been very transparent about this. They rested on their laurels. They stopped innovating in the key markets which bored customers, right? So according to reports, Elliott is pushing for leadership changes at Lululemon and has proposed Jay Nielsen, a seasoned retail executive, as a potential CEO candidate. So apparently, according to the same reports, they are spearheading the search of a new of the coming CEO, and it looks like Jay Nielsen is a potential candidate. So who is Jen Nielsen? Let's have a look at the track record the track record of the CEO as well. So she brings deep experience across premium retail, brand turnarounds, and operational discipline. She most recently served as CFO and COO at Ralph Lauren, where she joined as CFO in 2016 and expanded her role to CEO in 2019. And sure enough, if you look at the history of the company from 2016 onward, you can see that operational efficiencies were created, and so operating profits have increased substantially under her tenure. Okay, so during her tenure, she helped guide the company through a period of declining sales, which echoes the same problems that Lululemon is facing in its key market: the pandemic-driven collapse in discretionary demand, a subsequent recovery driven by renewed brand focus and cost discipline. In 2024, Nielsen stepped down as CFO as part of a planned succession, remaining COO until early 2025. Before Ralph Lauren, she also served as a CFO of Coach from 2011 through 2016, playing a pivotal role in stabilizing the brand after market share losses and excess inventory issues. Earlier in her career, she spent 15 years at PepsiCo. Very interesting, right? This is probably, it's interesting because Elliott Investment Management took a stake in PepsiCo in September. So that's why, not sure how much of a coincidence this is. Holding senior finance roles, including CFO of PepsiCo Beverages Americas, an experience that sharpened her operational and capital allocation skills. So what you guys can see right here is that if she is to step into the CEO shoes, this will be the first year of her as a CEO, because she has a lot of financial experience, having worked as CFO for many years in different businesses. But it will be the first time as a CEO. And but what also jumps out at me is that she has a track record of turning around businesses. All right. So look at the common theme here. So she joined companies when they were struggling, and then she managed to turn them around, which is very important, because that's the situation Lululemon currently it's the situation they are currently in, right? A former Ralph Lauren executive once described their leadership style as an iron fist with a velvet glove. In other words, disciplined but brand aware. Very, very important. So why does this matter to Lululemon? Because Lululemon's current challenges are not about brand awareness. They are about execution. Product relevance in the US, inventory discipline, innovation cadence, sorry if I pronounced this incorrectly, competitive positioning. So Jane Nielsen's background suggests she could bring structure, accountability, and strategic focus to areas where Lululemon has recently struggled. And think about it this way: one of the best things about having an activist investor on your side is that they have skin in the game. So these guys have invested over $1 billion in Lululemon. I can guarantee you that they want to turn the business around, and that's exactly what I believe will happen. That I don't think the problem with Lululemon is structural. Otherwise, I wouldn't have invested in the company in the first place. Sorry about that. So there was some mismanagement, but I think this is solvable, and I think it's nice to have an activist investor on our side because they bring a lot of expertise. They've been around since, look at that, they've been around since 1977. They have a great history of delivering great annualized returns for their shareholders, right? Because they are a hedge fund manager. And they wouldn't have built a significant stake in Lululemon if they didn't believe in the company's growth prospects. And so, sure enough, I understand why the stock is already sharply higher pre-market. In fact, if I go here to eToro, I can show you that. Look at that. By the way, I don't use eToro to execute any of my transactions. Full disclosure, I always use interactive brokers to do so, and I use eToro for educational purposes because it's more user friendly. So, with that in mind, look at that. So the stock is already up 5.40, about 5.5% pre-market. It's going to be very interesting to see if shares will open, will end, how high shares will end the day. Right, so the U.S. market opens at half past 2 UK time. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what the response will be, if there will be more buying pressure. But anyway, this is just on the back of the news that came out. But long term, I like what I'm seeing, and it means that other big player is. So it means that other big player believes the same things that I do. They believe the company has a sustainable competitive advantage, and that the problems can be the problem. There is a solution to these problems. Okay, so guys, I hope you managed to find my findings insightful, and if that was the case, please leave a comment as well, and yeah, just continue to share the videos with people that you may believe can benefit, people who have been losing money in the markets. We've been trouncing the market averages since our portfolio launch, and what we do here is all about finding great companies with a significant margin of safety. And so let's grow our money together, guys. And it's nice to see that one of our biggest allocations seems to be on the right trajectory. Okay, so stay tuned for more, and hopefully I will see you on the 20th in our live video.